Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. You know what time it is. It is another day of midweek training. And this month, we're talking all about financial goals, financial visions, prioritizing your life. And I wanted to use this week to really focus on the importance of goal setting and how you need to tie those things to your life priorities and what's most important to you. So we're going to get started, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Before we start, make sure that you go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and get yourself situated so we can move with purpose and understanding throughout our process of what we plan to do and the goals that we would like to achieve in 2020. All right, everyone. Hi. It is Sophia Melonē, the Debt Demolisher, and I'm here to deliver the midweek training to get you one step closer to your financial success. I am the founder and chief facilitator of Smash Debt Inc., which is a financial education company that provides financial leadership coaching, credit coaching, workshop facilitation, and foundational training and support for small business financials. And this is done all in efforts to create debt eliminators and wealth sustainers. So welcome to the room. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about goals. We are starting a new year. We are in the first month of a new decade, and it's time to start strong and do what we need to do to achieve the results that we really want to achieve. So in this episode of the Sophia Melonē Show, I'm going to be sharing with you how to design your financial goals. I have a lot of tools that I'm going to be sharing. So what I want you to do is make sure that you have your pens, your papers, your notepads, and even another tablet handy, because there are some forms that I want you to download so we can actively work through this process and you can start the process of beginning to design your financial goals. So when we talk about goal setting, it's very important to make sure that we are designing them in a way and segregating them in a way where they can be achievable, right? When we're in the area of finances can be very heavy. It can be tumultuous at times because depending on the burden that you have, it could be a lot for you to carry. And so one thing that I like to recommend to folks is to, when you're thinking about your financial goals, to break them out. Put them in different categories, put them in different buckets so that you can be able to work through each one at a decent pace. So one thing that I like to share with folks is to make sure that they have financial goals that are short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Now, what does that mean? That means you should be segregating your goals for things that you would like to achieve in a short-term period, which is 12 months or less. You should also be designing goals or thinking of goals that you would like to achieve within a 3 to 5 year period, which would be your midterm goals. And then you also want to think about the future. You want to think about the forefront. You want to think about your longevity, right? So you want to be thinking about the goals that you can design for yourself that are 10 years and beyond from today, a whole nother decade from today. What are the things that you would like to see differently in your finances? What are the things that you would like to trickle down into your legacy to teach your children, to teach your family, to teach your loved ones so that they can have strong financial stewardship embedded within them? It starts with you guys. You have to start and make the necessary steps for you to transform your life so that those watching you can know and transform theirs as well. So I want to talk a little bit about the process, right? And I have a tool that I want you to download. It's a financial goal board, which I think is something amazing that I designed, because a lot of times I speak to people and I ask them, do they know their goals? What are their financial goals for the year? What are their financial goals for the next few years? And then they may say, oh yeah, I want to do this or I want to do that. And then I ask them, well, how specific is it? Has it been written down? What does that look like? And a lot of times they don't have it written down on paper. It's in their mind, but it's not outside of their mind where it can be actually visible. And so I said to myself, I want to design something that could help someone take their financial vision out of their mind and put it on paper so they could have something visual to look at and take actionable steps towards, so they can always remember that this is the vision that's at the forefront of them. So I want to share with you guys the financial goal board that I've developed, and I'm going to walk you through that in a little bit, but I want you to just start thinking about the types of goals that you would like to accomplish, what you would like your finances to look like in 12 months, in 3 to 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. What is your true core desire? And as you start to think about that, I want you to think about last week, right? Because these are trainings that I'm doing to kind of build upon one another. And last week we talked about your financial, not your financial, but we talked about your life priorities assessment. And this is a tool that I also shared to help you craft what's most important to you in every area of your life. And so this week's episode of the Sophia Melonē Show is going to be a build on to the life priorities assessment that we talked about last week, but more specifically in the financial area, right? Because we're going to expand out on this financial area, get our financial visions down on paper so that we can take some actionable steps towards making sure that they get achieved in the time frame that we are hoping that they get achieved. And so it is important to make sure that your goals, your financial goals that you're thinking about, is in alignment with your priorities. And it's in alignment with what it is that you want out of life. So one thing I want to recommend that you do after you've watched last week's episode, make sure that you have your financial, I keep saying financial. Sorry, you guys. I'm thinking about the financial goal board, but I want to make sure that you have your life priorities assessment out in front of you while you are designing your financial goal board, because we have to make sure that these two things are in alignment. And once we do that, it's important to make sure that you identify your action steps. So after you have an idea of what you want your goal to be, you've assessed whether or not if it aligns with your life priority assessment. Now you want to say, okay, these are in agreement. They complement one another. Now, what are the action steps that I need to do to make sure that I get these results that I would like to have in my finances? And so this is the action step identification process. And what that looks like is you thinking about what it would take to actually achieve those goals. So prime example, if you are someone who wants to get out of debt, you have several, and this could be this could actually be something that can be broken down into many terms, right? This could be like a midterm goal, because if you have $40,000 or $50,000 or 800,000, not 800, but $80,000 worth of debt, and you want to pay that off, depending on your income sources and what you have coming in, it may not be feasible for you to realistically pay that off within 12 months. However, you could say, okay, within 3 to 5 years, I want to have all of this debt gone. And so now that you've identified what the midterm goal is, you have to start developing your action steps. So the first action step would be to, okay, segregate the amounts of debt that you have. So of that $80,000, what does that $80,000 of debt consist of? Is it credit card debt? Is it a student loan? Is it a personal loan? Is it a car loan? Like, how much of that is contributed to that $80,000? Because it's important for you to break it out. You have to break it out so you can break it down so that you can tackle it, right? Break it out so you can break it down and you can tackle it. And one thing that I like to share with folks when they're going through this process of identifying their action steps is just doing some research to say, okay, what are some things that people do to get themselves out of debt? Of course, a lot of folks, they operate from a very strict budget. They exercise financial discipline in order to achieve the experiences that they want or the results that they want. So that's one action step. And what does financial discipline look like? That means putting yourself on a budget, consistently monitoring your budget, tracking your expenses, tracking your activity, doing your budgets versus actuals to see how you are comparing versus what you forecasted compared to what you actually spent. Then it also looks at, okay, what are the action steps that I need to take to generate more revenue? Because here's the thing, and I always share this with everyone that I know, that you have to have multiple sources of income. You cannot rely on one source of income to try to get yourself out of 6 figures of debt or close to 6 figures of debt. You have to make sure that you have other income streams coming in. So what action steps can you take to identify some additional income streams that you could have flowing into your pockets? So these are the types of things that you have to think about in terms of creating your action steps for the goals that you've designed. What will it take? Honestly, what will it take? And sometimes you have to do the research because you may not know the answer in the cups of your own head. You have to go and find the experts. Go and find the ones who've had success stories. Go and find insight from others, because knowledge is out here, guys. People share knowledge, people share wisdom, and they want you to win just as much as they win as well. So leverage that opportunity, leverage the resources and education that's being shared with you, and make sure that you act upon it. Now, I want to talk to you guys about making sure that your goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And this follows the SMART framework. Every client who I work with, I bring them through this process of designing their goals in a SMART way. And when I say SMART way, I mean that your financial goals have to be very specific, which means down to the exact dollar amount that you either want to save, that you either want to pay off, or the credit score that you want to reach, the exact number, that it has to be at that level of specificity, as well as other features that we're going to talk about, or other elements that we're going to talk about in terms of timeframes and how you're going to do it and things of that nature. Another thing I always share with folks when it comes to the specificity piece is adding the why behind it, because the why is what's going to keep you moving forward towards actually wanting to accomplish that goal. Because we can set these major goals and make no progress. We set these goals and make no progress. Why? Because we haven't made it a real priority for us, and we don't reflect on the reason why we want to accomplish the goal in the first place. And when we keep the why in front of us, it will help us penetrate to continue to move forward. The next piece is measurable. Your goal has to be measurable down to the time frame. Like, okay, within what period, like how can you measure success, or how can you measure progress in the goal that you're reaching after? So that means you have to make sure that you're setting milestones. You have to have a unit of measure. How are you going to measure this thing? Is it by the number of debts that you have? Is it by the dollar amount? How are you going to measure the progress that you're making towards the goal that you want to reach? And then when we get to the attainable piece, it talks about the realisticness of the goal. So I gave this example in a training that I did, and I'm going to tell you guys about the training as well. But I gave this example in a training where we talked about setting astronomical goals that isn't really attainable based on our current situation. And so we have to be realistic when we're thinking about the goal that we want to reach, and doing maybe some studies, some research to figure out, okay, what could be a realistic or reasonable time frame for me to be able to achieve this goal. And one way for you to kind of track that is to set milestones. So you can say, okay, by this time frame, I at least want to get to this point. I want to be able to get to this point. I want to be able to get to this point. So if you are establishing your goals in a way where it is attainable because it has milestones that you can kind of track to see how you're doing, to see maybe if you need to pivot on your time frame because it may be taking you a little bit longer to get to point A in your journey to your financial goal. You have to make sure that you are putting yourself in a place where you could adjust, pivot, and measure yourself to make sure that you are establishing goals in a way that's actually going to be attainable for you. Because one thing that I notice is that when we don't reach a goal, we feel defeated. And so when we feel defeated, it makes us not want to do anything. But I want to tell you that you Because I've had goals that I've set that I haven't reached. But one thing that I did do was I was able to go back and focus on the progress that I've made because I set milestones. And I said, okay, if I can get to this point, this is good. So if you don't have anything to track, how can you know how you did or not if you only are measuring if you get to the finish line? So make sure that you set those goals that are attainable and that they have metrics and measurable units where you could kind of track to see where you are, have milestones in it. That's very important. Relevance, we want to make sure that your goal is relevant to your overarching goal. I share this as well. A lot of times people say that they want to get out of debt, but then they perform an activity that will put them in more debt. So you can't say you want to get out of debt, but then one of your goals is to buy a new car. That doesn't make sense. Or to finance a new car. That just doesn't make sense. And so you have to test the alignment of that goal to see how it coincides with your overarching goal, with the overall vision that you want for your financial life. And then time bound, of course, we have to make sure that our goals are time driven. When is the buy when date? When are we going to meet this finish line? When is the desired process to meet this finish line? So again, your timelines will change based on the type of goal that you set. If it's short term, if it's midterm, or if it's long term, your buy when dates will coincide with the period in which you would like to have that goal accomplished, which is through the term. Okay, so I want to show you guys really quickly the financial goal board that I developed. This is something that will help you keep your vision at the forefront. So let me share this on my screen so you see. But I have on the screen right now where you can actually download the form for free, bit.ly /fin, which is FIN goal board. So FINGOALBOARD, all lowercase. Go ahead and download your form, request it. So it's a fillable form, so you can fill it out right as you download it. It's an amazing tool, and it's going to be very useful for you. So let me put this up here so you guys can see. So this is the financial goal board that I developed, and essentially what it does is it helps you keep your vision at the forefront so you can see exactly what you desire and what it is that you want to achieve in your personal finances in terms of goals and achievements. And so what I have on this financial goal board is for you to break out your goals, your financial goals. Let me be specific, but break out your financial goals by short term, midterm, and long term. And again, you want to design your goals in a way where it follows the SMART framework that I just went over very briefly. I know it's very high level, but I go through this SMART frame process in thorough detail in my goal setting training that I want to encourage you guys to participate in. But it will show you exactly how to design your SMART goals. And what you do is, and as you can see, it's fillable. You can put your name in here. So I'm just going to put mine here for now. Then we're going to put the year. We're in 2020. And so if I had a short-term goal, so a short-term goal is a goal that you feel that you can achieve within 12 months or less. So you guys know that I'm on my personal development journey. I'm on my debt freedom journey. I've paid off a lot of debt in a short amount of time, and I'm down to my last few debts that I need to pay off. And so my goal, one of my short-term goals for this year, is to pay off. I have is it a $6,000 balance? I think, no, it's $5,000 now. So I have a $5,000 balance that I would like to pay off. And so my goal is to pay that off. I actually want to pay it off by June 30. So in this case, my short-term goal would be to pay off my, I'll just say credit card for now, with a balance of $5,000 by June 30, 2020. And another thing that I do with the SMART goals is you have to expand a little bit in terms of how you're actually going to achieve it, right? So for each aspect, I'm going to touch on the SMART elements. So specific, measurable. The measure unit in this case is the actual dollar amount because I want to pay off the $5,000. The attainable piece is where I'm going to draft now. So this will be something like if I have a $5,000 balance and I want to pay it off in 6 months, I can easily say, okay, let's break this down into 6 months, break the 5,000 down into 6 months to see what that would contribute to on a monthly basis. So that would take me to about maybe $835 a month. So I would say I will reduce my monthly credit card balance by $835 per month to ensure that, something along those lines, to ensure that it's paid off by the June 30 date. So I'm not going to go through all of this right now because it's going to take a little bit more time. And then the training that I offer actually goes through the entire process, and I'll take you through the entire thing and how you map it out. But I just want to share a little bit of what that would look like when you start to design and what you write into this box in terms of what your SMART goal is. And so once you've identified your SMART goal, you then want to look at what it would take for you to actually achieve or make progress towards this goal. So this goes back to when I was telling you guys about the action steps that you have to take. So what is it going to be? What is it going to take for me to pay off this $5,000? So I know that I have to budget and stick to it. I need to generate an additional $835 per month. Okay, because this is the key. The key is, yes, you want to exercise discipline in your current budget, but you still have to look for ways to generate the additional revenue to cover the expense that you want to pay, because we're doing an accelerated process of trying to pay off our debts. And so that means we have to figure out a different way to get that extra revenue in that we need in order to pay it down in the time frame that we want to pay it down in. So this column, you will basically just jot down all of the steps that you feel that you would need to take in order to actually make progress in this goal. And then last but not least, this section is, how does this goal align with my life priorities? And so in this case, I know that my life priorities is to be an exceptional financial steward. And so if that is one of my priorities, and I have to ask myself, how does this goal of me paying off this $5,000 loan or whatever that I have out here, how does that align with my life priorities of wanting to be an exceptional financial steward? And that's actually pretty easy, right? Because if you are paying off your debt in a way that is allowing you to increase your bottom line, increase your net worth, that's showing financial discipline, not only for you because you've been able to exercise a budget, you've been able to figure out different ways on how to multiply and generate revenue, you've figured out ways on how to demolish your debt and get rid of the debt without adding on new debt. So it's showing you how the actions that you want to take will align to where you want to go. So one of the things too that I want to share with you on the bottom of this, and let me just close this really quickly so you guys can see the full form. But on the bottom of the form, I have a financial prosperity motto and affirmation that you can fill out. And so this is something that's really, really cool, because a lot of times we don't create verbal affirmations that speaks to the financial life that we want. And so the purpose of this goal board is for you to be able to put that on paper under the goals that you've identified. And so I want to encourage you to just take some time to think and reflect on what would be your financial prosperity motto? What would be your financial prosperity affirmation? And I want you to type it in to the form after, of course, you've written out your short-term, your midterm, and your long-term goals. And then just make sure that that affirmation is in alignment with what it is that you say that you want. And then also make sure that it is believable for you, that you receive the message that you're putting on this form as your truth, and that you commit to operating by it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you guys real quick. It's an amazing tool for you to use. It's not difficult at all. And this is where you can go to download the goal board. It's a free download. You can just fill it in. Super easy. But I just wanted to share that with you so you guys know exactly how that works. And so I want to share real quick the importance of celebrating yourself. So a lot of times when we're on a journey like this that could take long to actually witness and experience results, because even 12 months can be a long time, right? Some people have to feel like, oh, have I met this? And this is why it's important to make sure that you have those milestones in there, because the milestones can help you celebrate. The milestones can help you celebrate, because once you've met a milestone, you can do a little bit of fun and acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your hard work, and then continue to press forward. So I always want to share with folks to make sure that you find a way to celebrate yourself, find a way to get encouraged, and find a way to develop goals that means the most to you and for you. And so what I want to share with you is how you can actually register for my goal setting workshop. It is an online course that I've developed, and is, from what I've been hearing, a lot of people have been able to receive a lot of experience and great results from it. I'll probably do a video to share like some testimonial feedback from some of the folks who participated in the course. But I want to let you know where you can get this, because if you don't know how to design smart financial goals, you have to make sure that you get this workshop. This workshop can be found at bit.ly/FGSR 2020, or you can go to fgsspecial.smashthatinc.com to go ahead and purchase the training. I am offering it at a discount for this period, for a week or so, because I want to give you guys a New Year special. So it's only $20.20. So this is the training that I was referring to, that I told you that I would share with you guys and let you know that it's available. But I want to encourage you to make sure that you get this course. Get your hands on it right now while it's $20.20, because it's not always going to be that price. And I just want you to know that financial goal setting is the foundational place where you need to start to get any achievement that you want when it comes to your finances. So make sure that you make sure that you purchase. And I have some additional information that will be coming out behind that as well. So we're down to the homework. We are a little over time, but it's okay. It's all right. I want to remind you guys what your homework is. Your homework is to make sure that you identify your short-term, midterm, and long-term financial goals by the outline that I provided with you today, as well as using the financial goal board, and then making sure that you register for the goal setting workshop, and make sure that you download the board. Download the board from bit.ly/fin goal board. It'll come right to your inbox. You can start typing it in just like I just showed you guys here, and print it out, put it on your walls, make it visible so that you can see it and take action towards it every single day. Then I want you to compare compare the goals that you've drafted on your financial goal board to the life priorities assessment that you did last week. And again, go back and watch that training if you did not, and make sure that you download the tool for that process as well. Compare the two and just make sure that they're in alignment, make sure that they're in sync, and make sure that they complement one another. And then after you've done that, you have to identify the required action steps. What will it take for you to get the results that you want to achieve your short-term, your midterm, your long-term goals? What will it take? Ask yourself those probing questions so that you can identify the action steps that you need to take, and be willing to do some research. Be willing to find out what will be the average length of time, or what are some different strategies and things that I can take to accomplish the goal that I want. Last but not least, I want you to make sure that you purchase the goal setting workshop. Purchase the financial goal setting workshop. It's $20.20, and you can get it from bit.ly/FGSR2020. The links will be in the description box as well as in the pinned comments. So make sure that you grab it while it's available and before the prices go up. I just want to give y'all a happy New Year treat. I want to give you guys a New Year treat. So I always like to let you know, I want to know what value you found. What value did you find in this training today? What did you find? Let me know. Leave a comment, the value. Let me know how you utilize this information, and let me know when you've purchased the course. Because if you drop a comment and let me know that you purchased the course, I'll add a bonus for you. I'll give you a little bonus if you do that. Okay. All right. Then I want you to make sure that you share this lesson out. Don't keep all the juice and the knowledge for yourself. If you've been finding value on the Sophia Melonē show, make sure that you share this out, send it to a friend, send it to a loved one. You guys combine, come together, y'all do the work. Start your year off right, working on yourself and working on your finances, and do it with others. Be willing to share with others and let them know that there is information that they can use to benefit their financial futures. Share the knowledge, share the wealth. Okay. And then make sure that you subscribe and join my mailing list at SophiaMelonē.com. I'll be sharing debt demolishing tips. Of course, I'll be giving you more information about the inside scoop on trainings that I'll be delivering. You don't want to miss the announcements that are forthcoming. So make sure that you join the mailing list by going to SophiaMelonē.com. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of my loyal subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell, share this out, and I'll see you guys next week. And before I go, I want to remind you that your financial prosperity awaits you. I'll see you tomorrow, next week.